You've heard it 1,000 times. Maybe while sitting in traffic, maybe at 2 in the morning with the lights low, maybe while pretending to clean your apartment but really spiraling about your ex. The bass line comes in first, slow, syrupy, almost too smooth. Then her voice, warm, breathy, like it's already forgiven you for whatever mistake you're about to make next. That's Sade. But what you probably didn't realize is that the whole time, there was a hidden trick happening under the hood, a secret sauce baked right into her music that's been seducing your ears without you ever noticing. It's not just her voice. It's not just the chords. It's a compositional illusion. Because while everyone else was chasing complexity, Sade and her band were doing something far more dangerous: restraint. Let me explain. The vast majority of Sade's music sits in this strange, hypnotic space between jazz, soul, and pop. But unlike most fusion artists who try to dazzle you with virtuosity, Sade's band, especially producer Stuart Matthewman and keyboardist Andrew Hale, build grooves like architects, not show-offs. Each part is minimal, but together they form this soft, undeniable gravity. Nothing is overplayed, nothing calls attention to itself. And that's the trap, because you think there's nothing going on until you try to replicate it. Let's take No Ordinary Love. Most people remember the vocals, rightfully so. It's one of her most haunting performances. But underneath, there's this looping guitar figure that feels endless. It's not flashy, it's not harmonically dense, it's just circular, hypnotic, like a spell. It loops, and your brain stops trying to resolve it because it feels resolved. That's the secret. Sade uses static harmony, meaning she'll sit on one chord for an uncomfortably long time, but she surrounds it with texture, rhythm, breath. So even though the chord isn't changing, you are. Your emotions are. It's the opposite of traditional songwriting where you build tension and release. Sade says, what if we never resolve? What if we just float? And that's the key. Her music isn't about movement. It's about atmosphere. It's not telling a story with a beginning, middle, and end. It's capturing a mood and holding it there, like smoke in a glass room. But here's where it gets even sneakier. Rhythm. Almost every Sade groove feels like it's dragging just a bit. Not behind the beat in the sloppy sense, but laid back in a way that makes time stretch. Drummer Paul Cook and later Martin Ditch were masters of this. The hi-hats whisper. The snares snap, but never shout. It's the audio equivalent of someone leaning in close, speaking just a bit too softly, so you have to lean in too. That's how they get you. That's how they make 5 minutes feel like 10 and still leave you wanting more. And don't even get me started on the chord choices. Ninths, 11ths, suspended voicings, but they're never used for jazz cred. They're used to blur the emotion. You can't quite name what you're feeling when you hear those chords. It's not happy, it's not sad, it's something else. Something you don't have words for, but Sade does. That's why you keep listening. Now here's the wildest part. This exact blueprint, static harmony, lush textures, rhythmic drag, and whispery vocals, has been ripped off for decades. Lo-fi hip-hop, Sade. Bedroom R&B, Sade. That hazy playlist you play while pretending to study but really daydreaming about a life you don't have yet. Sade. Producers who have never even heard her name are sampling her DNA. That's how deep the sauce runs. And yet, she's never loud, never dramatic, never demanding your attention. That's why it works, because in a world full of screaming, Sade whispers. And somehow, you still hear her above the noise. So the next time Smooth Operator comes on in the background of a restaurant, or the sweetest taboo slides into your Spotify queue at 2 in the morning, stop, listen, not just to her voice, but to what's underneath it. Because that groove you're swaying to, that chord that just melted your spine, that feeling you can't quite name, that's the sauce. And now you know. You've heard it 1,000 times, you just didn't know it had a name.